I'm Steven. That's John. We're from Just Got Played, and we're bringing you MrX's Top 25 Games of All Time, the 7th Annual Edition, the 2022 edition. So if you don't know what that is, you can go back and check our first video, number 25 from December 1st. We talk about it a little more. But in general, the idea is I surveyed a bunch of people. They gave me their top 50 games of all time. I used an algorithm to collect all those together and get this aggregated list of the top 25 games of all time. And today we are talking about game number 11 on the list for December 15th. And that is Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition. So John, you want to tell us a little bit how that game's played?
Sure. So Terraforming Mars is the base game, and Race for the Galaxy is another base game. And what they did is they took the best parts of both of them, they left behind the parts that didn't work, and they combined them together to make Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition. Those two games are two of my favorite games of all time. So going into this, I was a little bit curious as to how they could take my two favorite games and would they mess it up, and they absolutely did not. They completely nailed it. So what you do is you're playing Terraforming Mars, but instead of having to go through all of the generations and take turns and having a lot of overhead with the game, they take the action selection mechanism from Race for the Galaxy, and everybody's going to choose a phase that they want to do, and you reveal it, and only the phases that were chosen are going to be done in that round, and you all act simultaneously. So it cuts a lot of time out. You're not waiting for anything. You're all going at the same time. And the different phases are going to be basically playing a card, activating a card, getting resources, things like that, just like Terraforming Mars, but in a much faster way. So if you chose that phase, you're also going to get a bonus. If you're drawing cards, you get to draw an extra card and keep one extra card. If you're producing, you get to produce 4 money on top of all of your production costs. So essentially, you're going to be generating resources over the course of different turns, and you're going to use those to play green, blue, and red cards, which are going to be cards that give you an instant or a long-term bonus with the tags, cards that you can reutilize when you take the action phase because you can activate them again, and red cards that are going to be like an instant effect that you get immediately, and then you turn the card face down and it's over. And essentially, over the course of the game, you're trying to terraform Mars into a living habitat in order to make it sustainable for human life. And once you've done all 3 parameters, heat, oxygen, and the trees, you count up the points, and whoever has the most points wins the game. But it really does take 2 amazing games and combines them together with 0 overhead and just all the great elements from both of those games.
Nice. So this is the first year that Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition has landed on this list. I will not spoil it and tell you whether Terraforming Mars or Race for the Galaxy made the list higher on up. You're just going to have to wait and find out. I also like Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition a lot. I like Terraforming Mars a lot. I like Race for the Galaxy a lot. I feel like Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition gives me the feeling that I want from Terraforming Mars in a half to a third of the time, which is important for me. There's so many games to play and only so much time I have in the day. So I think in general, if somebody's over and they want to play a game, I'm probably going to pick Ares Expedition. If I have to explain or teach a game, I'm probably going to grab Ares Expedition. I love Race for the Galaxy, but if there's somebody who hasn't played the game, I have to teach it. How about Ares Expedition instead, right? Because, it gives you it's the same sort of mechanisms, but a lot easier to teach, right? So I do own Terraforming Mars and Race for the Galaxy, but Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition is going to get off the shelves more than both of those combined, I think. So do you have all of those games?
Yes, yeah, I do. I even have like upgraded components, and I really went all in on Terraforming Mars to upgrade the base experience. And even with that, and even with it for a long time being my favorite game of all time, Ares Expedition just gives you that exact feel. I don't feel like I'm missing out on much. Maybe a little bit of placement on the board, just a little bit. But I don't feel like it's lost anything, and I feel like it's gained so much more with that merger. Race for the Galaxy is another great game, but it's got some of the most dense symbology of any game that I've ever played. It might be the toughest game to teach to a new player, to the point of where they made a game called Jump Drive to teach you how to play Race for the Galaxy. So if I were to tell you, hey, take 2 of your favorite games and combine them into one, That's an impossible task. But they actually went out and did it to the point of where if I want to play Race for the Galaxy, I'll probably grab Ares. If I want to play Terraforming Mars, I'm probably grabbing Ares because of all those reasons. So it's a really great game that is just elegant in its design.
Yeah, I didn't quite go all in on the Terraforming Mars playing like you did, but I do have, a friend of ours 3D printed me a Noctis City thing,
Mhm.
and I bought a Hot Wheels like Mars rover to be the first
Yeah.
player marker.
Nice.
So I got a few things in there going for me, but yeah. So Terraforming Mars, Ares Expedition, great game. Recommend you check it out. That's why it is number 11 on this list. So, MrX's top 25 games of all time, as always, is a contest. I'll be drawing a winner at the end of December. So, how do you enter? Well, you enter the contest by leaving a comment on this YouTube video. And why don't you tell me what you think about Race for the Galaxy, Terraforming Mars, or Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition? And, if you don't have any thoughts on that, why don't you just tell me what you think about the US space program? Why not? All right. But so this is December 15th. We will be back tomorrow, December 16th, and we're going to crack into the top 10 with number 10. But until then, I'm Steven. That's John. We're from Just Got Played, and thanks for joining us.